The Batesville School Board met last night in regular session and unanimously passed a mask policy for the beginning of the school year. Superintendent Michael Hester, Dr. Michael Hester, is our guest. Well, the board and all that were present, you certainly included, heard from members of the White River Health System. Gary Paxton, CEO, was there along with his staff. Tyler Sandlin, Stephanie Welch, and Dr. Melanie Moody. Yes. And they made a presentation advocating a prepared mask policy. And then all of a sudden along comes the CDC with a different quarantine rule, which I think is going to help schools.
Yes, and that's part of the catalyst that we need everybody to understand. The CDC last year, it didn't matter if you were wearing masks in the classroom or on the bus indoors. If somebody was sick or infected, everybody had to go home. Mm-hmm. This year, they've completely reversed that, which makes this policy then, we're able to customize this policy. Now, if anyone 3 to 6 feet from each other in the classroom, right. Teachers, kids, cooks, bus drivers, if they have a mask on, whether they're vaccinated or not, that we do not have to quarantine them. And that's brand new, hot off the press, that people aren't understanding that's part of this mask game that we've got to play as well as be healthy. But they are telling us kids that are in the room masked up can now stay in school if they have mask on. So that makes this mask indoor policy that much more important. We can now keep everybody in school and not have to send all these quarantines home. And then families were frustrated last year. That's why they went virtual, because they wore masks and it didn't matter because they were still getting quarantined. That has changed. That is the game changer. And that's why the board wanted to customize with our local health officials. We customized this to where this mask policy now works for us. It keeps our kids in schools. And Gary, you said to me, what we learned from last year is on-site learning is more valuable than ever. We know now more than ever. Right. So keeping kids on site so that we don't disrupt the loss of learning or the abuse that we've seen go on in our families, that's more important. So if it means just masking up with each other, and the CDC's become very reasonable with this for us, and we'll honor it, we can keep everybody in school if we simply wear a mask on indoor situations.
Now, really what we're talking about, Dr. Hester, is indoor policy, because outdoor?
Right.
No mask.
Outdoor,
policies.
No mask with the fresh air. And again, I think that's part of them being reasonable. And we are asking people, be aware of social distancing, of washing your hands, and trying to do the things that you can do. But at the same time, outside fresh air, that's not an issue.
Right.
This is only for indoors. And then we get into situations with, okay, what if my kid's in a gym practicing or in an indoor facility? For athletics or activities, or even music, because you got people blowing horns and flutes and singing, and they can unmask for that. And so that's the beauty of our board getting to write our policy locally. We can make it fit for us.
PE and recess.
PE, if they're doing a classroom activity, they'll mask up. But if they're doing a rigorous exercise, we all understand about the oxygen and breathing. And if it's an indoor thing, if they're going outside, it doesn't matter. But indoors, if it's rigorous, they can take it off just for the breathing purposes and things. And for athletics, music, being able to sing, blow those horns, whatever, they can take them off for that. So we've been able to customize this and keep everybody in school with the new CDC guidelines.
The board must have really liked the way you customized it, because when they voted, it was a unanimous vote. And let me ask you about the source of data that you'll be using. It comes from COVIDactnow.org.
Yes, sir. We had Stephanie Welch, a former pioneer, by the way. She is an awesome pioneer. And she is the executive director of quality and infectious control for White River Medical Center. And this policy is not only innovative and creative, but a lot of people across the state now are really looking at it because they like this. She helped write this with us. We said, what's the framework for America? What's the framework for Arkansas? What are numbers? Because people were saying, well, where's the numbers? Where's the science?
Right.
And this is what she uses in the hospital, what they use. And we said, well, why can't we adopt that to our schools?
Sure.
And so we use the data framework from covidactnow.org so that everybody in the community can go to that website and you can see if it's red or maroon, which is severe,
Right.
then we're masking up. So we've got the ability on indoor to come back off the mask if our county is doing well. And those numbers are based on our county daily infectious rates.
Right.
And if it gets down below a certain number, then it turns orange, yellow, and green. And then we can take mask off.
Right.
So that gives us the flexibility to be reasonable with what's going on around us.
And it only, when it's red, would you require mask?
Yes. Red.
Orange, you may recommend it.
Right. Well, and you can wear a mask anytime.
Right.
I mean, but this is what we would be mandated for indoor venues only. For indoor venues, not outdoor. And so our indoor venues would go by this, just like we have a weather advisory.
Sure.
People tell you there's a heat alert. It's dangerous to be out, and you make that decisions. We don't practice. We don't go out and do extraneous things. Sure. We're saying the same thing. It's a mask advisory. And so we're saying the conditions are we need to mask up. And it's based on a number and a science that has not been offered nationwide or statewide. And that's what's beautiful about this. Is it's based on a website everybody can watch. It's consistent, and it's based on numbers we all can get down. And it's based on our local numbers,
Right.
not something off across the country,
Sure.
across the world. This is based on our local numbers and what's going on. And obviously, we encourage masks. We encourage vaccinations, but we're going to honor personal choices when we can.
You have said it better than I have heard it said in some time. And with the ruling by the FCC or some new rules put down about quarantining, it really makes it better.
Right. That we can now, they are going to honor, if you wear a mask, your kid won't be sent home, where last year it was. If you're wearing a mask, your kid then gets to stay in school. We get to keep school going.
Right.
And that was the priority of the board, is what can we do to keep the disruptions from loss of learning to happen.
Yes.
This masking up indoors and being responsive to our local health situation is perfect. We got to customize it. And we'll see. If the state comes back and their law kicks in that says we cannot mandate masks, then we'll be back to not mandating masks. But when they gave us the opportunity to customize it to what fits us and what keeps our kids in schools, we as a board were creative and innovative, and hopefully it will be a model for everyone.
In-person training, teaching, instruction is been helped because of that ruling.
Thank you, Gary, for helping us get out the good word.
Superintendent of Schools for the Batesville School District, Dr. Michael Hester, our guest. Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you, too.